This course, Cloud Strategy, Planning and Management, it consists of 5 modules. And today we shall be covering the module number 1. And in the module number 1, of course, we'll start with the lecture number 1. So the module number 1 is Developing Business Strategy. Let's have a brief understanding of what is the background and why we are going to study this particular topic. So as it's quite evident, we are talking about 3 things. We are talking about cloud, we are talking about strategy, we are talking about planning and management. But as you are all aware that in any enterprise architecture, we have 4 components. So the first component is the business architecture, second component is the data architecture, third component is the technology architecture, and fourth component is, of course, the communication architecture or the networking part. When we talk about business, that is the initiating point. Technology is basically an enabler of the business. We conduct businesses to gain profits. This course is basically not only aligned with the cloud strategy and planning, but to give you an idea or overview of what is a business, what are the different business models, as well as what are the different elements which constitute a business. Because when we talk about cloud or moving to the cloud, which we normally call digital transformation or cloud transformation, then we have to understand the business so that we can put up a business case. Transforming to the cloud cannot be just taken like a fancy idea that everybody is going on the cloud, so I should also go on the cloud. Whether your business case is appropriate, whether your overall requirements are such that going on the cloud is more beneficial for us, that has to be established. So this is the part which we'll learn later on. Now come to the part of the business. Before going for an architecture, we have to understand what is the business. If you are an entrepreneur, or you want to start a business, or if you are already in a business or running a business, or you are part of a business, just like we are. So we are basically part of a business, which is some company which is running, and we are working as human resources there, providing them all sort of a support. So when we talk about the business, we have to understand that we cannot just start a business or run a business without having understood the different key components of the business. Whether our business would survive in the market or not, because there are a lot of competition. So there are a lot of players in the market. So we require to have a nice combination of different elements, be it the investment part, be it the technology part, be it the application part, be it the relationship with the customer, be it the user experience, all these things. This course is basically designed for this particular purpose. So we will start with what is a business, what are the different business models, and then we'll try to understand, when we have defined our business model, that how we'll proceed forward. We'll try to find out what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, who are our competitors, what are the external threats, and so on and so forth. We shall explore 5 topics under this module number 1. And the topic number 1 is investigating business models to gain competitive advantage for organizations. Then we'll proceed with all the 5 topics. We'll start with the importance of business model in gaining competitive advantage. In this segment, we'll just understand the different business models and what they profess and how they are implemented. when we talk about business models, you can say they are a blueprint that guide any organization's activities, revenue generation, as well as value creation. So a very well structured business model can serve as a foundation for competitive advantage and help you thrive in the market in which you are operating. So you can visualize your business model like a roadmap that outlines how a company creates, delivers, and captures value. We take the example of Amazon. So Amazon's business model basically revolves around e-commerce, cloud computing, and of course, a vast logistic network to interlink its activities. So they create value by providing convenience to the customers. They deliver it efficiently as well as capture value through sales and services. So why business models are so crucial? So if we imagine two companies, company A as well as company B, both operating in the same industry, providing same or similar type of products or services, and having access to the same resources. But there is always a difference between them. Company A is thriving and company B struggles, or company A is struggling, company B is thriving in the market. The difference is the business model which they have adopted. For example, company A, which is thriving in the market, it has a very well crafted, innovative business model that enables it to deliver value to customers more efficiently, reducing costs and capturing a larger market share. Innovative, you are all aware that today we talk about a lot of innovation in our business, in technology. Being in line with the changing technological innovation and applying it in your business arena, that is also very important. Otherwise, you will be outdated and you'll lose the business, you'll go out of the market. And if company B, which has still the traditional outdated and inefficient business model, so it is not able to gain that much of profit, that much of a edge in the market, because technology or innovation are an enabler for any business. If somebody is running a store selling its products, and in this age, if he's not connected with some marketplace like Amazon or Flipkart, or he has his own application through which people can connect with them, order with them, take services, register complaints, grievances, all those things. Obviously, if they do not have those things, so customer always have that option to switch to better companies. You can think of the business model as a picture. So it's the visual representation of how the company creates, delivers, and captures value. And without a clear business model, it's like trying to assemble a puzzle without the picture. So when you were kids, you must have had played with these sort of puzzles in which there are different body parts and different pictures, and then you have to assemble it together. Similar is the case with the businesses also. So there are different key components which require to be assembled, integrated, and seamlessly talk to each other, enabling the business and deliver value to the customers. So if we do not have any one part of the picture, the business model or the picture, overall picture, is not complete. A business model is a plan which describes how a business intends to make money or profit. It also explains who your customer base is and how you deliver value to them, and the related details of the financing, from where you'll gain put money, who are your investors, and all those things. Normally, we call this picture as a business model canvas. So it is a strategic management tool that lets you visualize and assess your business idea or concept. Even if you have a running business, then also, or if you have inherited from somebody, or you are going to analyze a business, you need to understand the business model canvas so that you can examine each and every component of the business in order to ascertain that the business has the right components working in cohesion with each other. So it lets you define these different components on a single page, and they contain of 9 different components or 9 boxes when we call as a representation. This business model or canvas was originally developed by Alex Osterwalder and Yavis Pijner, and they introduced this in their book Business Model Generation, which is a visual framework for planning, developing and testing the business models of an organization. This is the business model canvas, and we have 9 different components, starting with number 1, the value proposition, number 2, the customer segments, number 3, the channels or the distribution channels, you can say connection channels, number 4 is the customer relationships, number 5, the revenue streams, number 6, key resources involved in the business, number 7, the key activities which are being taken place, number 8, the key partners, and number 9, the cost structure. So these are the 9 components, and you can say the business model is just like the DNA of any company. So it defines its fundamental structure and operations. This is a more detailed depiction of the business model, and we'll discuss all these things one by one. So as you can see that here we have the key partners, key activities. They are divided into 3 parts. On the left side and on the right side, we have internal and external factors. And in the middle, you have the value proposition that represents the exchange of value between your business and your customers. So let's briefly understand these one by one. So when we talk about the components, the first component that comes in the mind is the value proposition, and that's why it has been placed at the center of the business model canvas. So it is the unique selling proposition that describes what added value or product or services you are offering to the customer. So this is the first part when you think of a business or its model, that what value you are going to deliver to the customers. For example, a company which sells any organic food may offer a value proposition of healthy and sustainable food options. The second is customer segments. Customer segments involve the specific target customers or target audiences that the business wants to reach. Every business must always define what are the target audiences. Like if there are cosmetic products, so there may be some products which are targeted to the teenage girls. There may be some products which are targeted to women above 30 or 35, things like that. Similarly, there are also products for men also. The customer segment is very important, and customer segment not only involves the particular gender, it involves a multi-dimensional view. Target audiences may be rural, may be urban, they may be global, they may be national. So they may be to a specific part of the country or to a specific type of business. There are sometimes you are supporting or making spare parts, like spare parts for a vehicle or a car. So your target is the automotive industry. So you have to find out the target customer segments whom you are going to sell the products or services. For example, a company that sells baby products may target new parents, grandparents, or baby shower gift buyers. The third component is, or we can say, the third components are the channels. So these are the marketing and distributing channels used to reach the customers. As you are aware that today is the age of social media, electronic media, and you can't just open a business, launch a business, and sit idle and put posters somewhere. You have to be very active in marketing your product, your services, and for that you have to identify different channels. They can be the social media, you can go for the print media, you can go for the FM channels where you can advertise your value proposition, your business scope to the prospective customer. For example, a company that sells clothing may use social media or email marketing, like you said, send bulk emails, or use a website where anybody can reach and gain information about your products and services. Then fourth is the customer relationship. So the type of relationship which you establish with the targeted customer segment. For this purpose, you may have the different media, like you have the toll-free numbers, you have emails, you have chatbots, virtual assistants. So there are different channels through which the customer can relate to or connect with the company. Because if you have sold a product, and even if selling the product, somebody has some inquiry, normally we go for the on the site or go on their app to see what products are being offered, or we can talk to the virtual assistant also. We can type in, or simply we can, today is the age of WhatsApp, so on WhatsApp you can just give a message and you will receive back the detailed information. A lot of use of AI, generative AI, all those things are there. So for example, a company that sells software may offer customer support through email, phone, or chat. So the company may have a dedicated email ID where if any customer gives his grievance, immediately he will be contacted back. And that is very important also, because if you do not provide prompt user experience after sales service, the customer drifts away. Then we have the revenue streams. So the revenue streams indicate how businesses generate money from their products or services. For example, a company that sells a mobile app may generate revenue through in-app purchases or through subscriptions. Next, we have the key resources. So the key resources are basically the elements which are necessary in the business to create value for the customers. They are considered as assets to a company, and they are needed to sustain and support the business. As evident, human resource, financial resource, physical infrastructure, intellectual resources, experts, they are considered to be the key resources of the company. So you have to, when you conceptualize a business, you have to identify what sort of resources you will require in delivering the product or the services. For example, a company that provides consulting services like Big Four or Accenture or many other consulting services, BCG, they may require experienced consultants. Then they may require an office space as well as some software tools also as their key resources. Then we have the key activities. So these are the most important activities which are required to execute a company's value proposition. For example, a company that provides transportation service, they may require the time to time the maintenance of the vehicle. They may require giving the training to the drivers, do the route planning, updating their maps. So these are the key activities, and any business should always identify what are our key activities which we do undertake to deliver the company's value proposition to the customer segment. Then we have the key partnerships. These partners are basically the external stakeholders that contribute to the business. So they can include suppliers, distributors, and other companies that provide complementary product or services. So, for example, if you have application, so you require people who could give you business for your application. So there may be a lot of partners. For example, the advisory people, consulting people. So they provide the consultation, but at the same time, they also partner with some agencies. Like if I talk of my working space, so normally we give advisory to the government or the corporate sector regarding any of the digital transformation or technology transformation. So if we have identified a technology roadmap, so we require to have some people or specialists who can deliver that thing. So our job is to just provide the consultations. Now, customer wants us to connect with the right people because they are not aware about who is the best in the market and they do not want to go into those nitty-gritties. So we also have our partners whom we can contact and connect with the clients. And there is a sharing model in which some 10%, 20%, 30%, depending upon the mutual consensus, maybe the sharing of the profit. So if I connect with some delivery team like Wipro or Infosys or Siemens, anybody whom we can take at the client side and they can provide those services because they are specialized in that particular technology or that particular field. So they are considered to be our partners. Similarly, if we talk about some products, like somebody has a generator business, then if they want to send it or sell it, so they require some logistic provider who can package it. They can require some vehicles, so they can go for some transport agencies who can deliver it to the prospective clients. So these are the key partners. Similarly, there are some spare parts which are to be made. So you cannot do everything from A to Z. So there is some core business which you are doing, some core products you are making, but at the same time you take help of other people rather than investing in a totally new business of producing things, because you may not require it at a later stage. So it is very well suited to identify partners having mutual consensus based on contracts, memorandum of understanding, that you help each other in delivering the value to the customer. Then finally, we have the cost structure associated with running the business. So the costs are basically routine costs or recurring costs. So you have to purchase hardware purchases, software development, rental services, electricity bills, human resource costs. So when you keep a number of resources, you run a business, so there are costs associated with each and everything. You have to work out that also when you define your business model, that how I'll work. And here I'll just pause and tell you that here is the place when we normally think about cloud, because cloud is providing us that cost efficiency, the return on investment. Today, if you want to start a business, you do not have to think about renting a space. You do not have to think about interviewing resources and then providing them workstations to work. Today is a arena of remote work. So you can just open your business on the cloud. You can have all the infrastructure, and have all the virtual machine, network, everything there. And you can connect people remotely. All your employees can be remote. they can work in different countries, and even your end clients can be remote. So you can develop the softwares on cloud, you can deliver the softwares to the client on cloud. So now the cost is the main thing, because if any company or any business started with the sole basic purpose of generating revenue, income, profits, so cloud is basically an enabler in it. So understanding these key components is very crucial, because they help any company or its owners to craft a roadmap for success. So they guide the decision making, resource allocation, as well as innovation. It's like having a treasure map where X marks the spot of untapped opportunities. So you always have to find out where we stand, whether we are having all these 9 components or not, whether we have proper revenues or not, whether we have identified the right people, the right partners, right investors, whether we have identified the right customer segment or not. Because unless and until you do that, your business is not going to thrive. You might have seen in and around your localities, there are some markets, some places where a number of shops keep on changing. Someday or the other, there is a sweet shop, then there is a medicine shop, then after 5 months, there is a book shop, stationery shop. Why this is happening? This is happening just because the people who start their business in that particular area do not work out these things, whether we have the market segment or the customer segment here or not. So you should be very clear who your customer is, whether you are going to provide them those services at a cheap cost, or whether you are going to provide a differential service. So this is also we'll study when we study about hyper competition, that you can provide the same products and services very cheap, or you can provide same thing at a differential cost because of the unique value proposition. Like Apple has a totally different market segment of elite people. Similarly, in vehicles, you have BMW, Mercedes. So if one Mercedes is sold, you have other automotive sellers selling more than 50 vehicles of low cost segment. So everybody has its target customers. Everybody has to work out all these 9 things and then develop the business model. Once you develop the business model, then you have to strategize it. You have to think about how to thrive in the market, how to counter your competitors, how to stay ahead with them, and how to survive in the ever-changing technology landscape. Because you see, technology is changing every day. Today, there is a lot of thrust on AI, automation. Generative AI is also taking place. There are large language models are being developed every day. And even if we talk about the country itself, the Digital India initiative of the Government of India has covered each and every segment. Recently, I have been part of a project in which the Government of India is building a digital public infrastructure to connect normal people, common people, with the use case of emerging technologies, which include the artificial intelligence, they include the IoT, which include the drones, which include blockchain technology. So there are a number of technologies today which are biggest contender in helping us out. But the problem is that we are not able to utilize it for the common good. This is from the point of view of the Government of India. It's not that these technologies do not have buyers in the market, but those buyers are some big business houses or some people who have a lot of revenue, who can spend a lot of money. So government basically is thinking about how to use a digital public infrastructure to connect common people, the remote of the remotest people, how we can help the people in agriculture with the help of drone technologies. So a farmer does not know how to connect with a drone service provider. So government is also a very passionate about this. I have been in the government, so I have seen the transition, how things have moved, and how we have been addressing the plight of the common citizen with the support of technology. Let's take some example of some successful business models. For example, Amazon. So Amazon basically started as an online bookstore and gradually transformed into an e-commerce giant by leveraging its robust logistic and customer-centric approach. So this is a success story which I think many people must not have known, that Amazon started with an online bookstore and gradually transformed into an e-commerce giant. Similarly, Uber. So Uber also disrupted the taxi industry with its innovative platform connecting drivers and riders, creating a new revenue stream for drivers. So this is the business model which we are normally talking about. That when we think about a business, we should think about all these 9 elements. What are the differentiating elements which we are going to adapt? And that makes all the transformation. So today you see a lot of startups are there which are challenging big companies because they are working on those things which people were never even thought about it. I can give you a very small example. Many times when you go for a blood test, somebody, the compounder or the medical assistant tries to find out your artery or vein from where he can extract blood. And for old people, this is much more difficult. So there was a startup who specifically thought of this, and they developed a light or laser light sort of thing, which when projected on your skin, that highlights all the veins very clearly. So you don't have to go through all those pains that the medical assistant spots some bad vein or some wrong vein and you face issues. So these are the concepts which are very essential when you think about a business. You just cannot open a kirana store and sit there like a Seth and do the business. Gone are those days. So you have to be technologically very advanced, and you have to be very agile in adapting to the changing circumstances. Suppose there is a new competitor in the market offering a new value proposition, and you may also become a new competitor in some business stream if you want to diversify your business. So you are working in hardware, you can want to go to software. After software, you want to go to consulting business. So if you want to diversify, you are also challenging some of the existing players in the market. So for that, you have to have an idea about the business model. Third is the Airbnb. So Airbnb revolutionized the hospitality industry by allowing individuals to rent their homes for hospitality purpose. Like you have Oyo rooms also, similar sort of thing. Airbnb went much forward that you can rent out your room for medical services. So anybody does not want to go to a hospital or some hospital bed, so you can go in a normal environment, which is a homely environment sort of thing. So that was also a concept. Then Tesla. So you are all aware about Elon Musk and his craziness in every field. So as soon as he took Twitter, he turned it into X. So Tesla is basically an electric vehicle that focuses on the sustainable transportation and renewable energy, reshaping the automotive industry. So nowadays we are seeing the renewable energy use, like vehicles running on batteries. Now there is talk of ethanol being used. Now most of the vehicle vendors, automotive industry is focusing on hybrid vehicles in which petrol as well as the batteries are being used. So there is a lot of change, and driverless cars are coming. So driverless cars are going to basically radicalize the entire automotive industry. So you may not be going for a cab after 2 or 3 years, not more than that. That you book a cab and a driver comes and calls you. Your cab will itself come to your doorsteps. You will sit there and the vehicle will go on moving with all the sensors, all the and the use of the 5G technologies, the millimeter waves to communicate, machine to machine connections. So these are the things which are basically transforming today's age, and we have to think about business. Surviving in any business today is very challenging, and each and every person is now getting platforms to do business. Earlier it was in the hands of some big business houses only. For example, if you have learnt about ONDC, Open Network Digital Commerce, so that is also a Government of India initiative to connect a achar wala, papad wala, a rickshaw puller to the prospective clients without having to go with a lot of application development and other things. So this is basically going to transform the entire workspace in which we are doing our business. If you take the example of Apple, so Apple's business model, you are aware, it combines hardware like iPhone, Mac, and software, supporting software like iOS or Mac OS, as well as services like music, Apple Music or iCloud. So they have an entire ecosystem approach in which they are providing each and every product. These projects are complementing each other. So it is creating a loyal customer base. So even if they raise the cost or prices, they have the loyal customer base sticking with them. So, and a recurring revenue stream is also coming through the app sales and subscriptions.